But that first week of sales was a whopping $2,000, 2 grand for 5 days. But that was success to me. I'm like, I just made 2,000. I didn't make it, but I mean, I had it in my hands.
What's going on, Pizza Fam? Look, I appreciate each one of you for listening to this show, listening to this episode. Before we get back to it, I wanted to tell you about my favorite product right now, Todd's Curry Sauce. I met these guys at the Florida Restaurant Show, Pizza Tomorrow Summit, and I'm telling you, ever since I tried that sauce, I have been putting it on everything in the shop. Chicken wings, pizza, you've seen the pizzas, chicken sandwich, salad dressing, like we've been putting Todd's Curry Sauce on everything, and I'm here to give you a special deal, special offer. Go to their website, toddscurrysauce.com, use code Pizza King, and get 10% off your next order. I promise you, you only need to try it one time. It's going to be the best curry sauce you ever tasted in your life. You're going to start putting it on all kinds of stuff in your shop, even at home. I got a bottle in the pantry here at the house. I got a bottle at the shop. Elliot, Todd, I need another bottle because I'm putting it everywhere. I'm putting it on everything. So go check it out. Use code Pizza King and get 10% off your next order. Peace. Let's get back to it. All right, here we go. Welcome back to Pizza King Podcast. I'm your host, Tyrell Reed. Got a very special guest this week. Somebody that I just ran into a couple of weeks ago, but like I just told him a second ago, it feels like I've known him for so long, just watching the content and following the story in the shop. So let me introduce you to the man himself, Joey Karvelas from Karvelas Pizza Company. Joey, welcome to the show.
What's up, Tyrell?
Man,
how is it up there? Where you at, man? Everything good?
It's beautiful here. It's springtime, so it's starting to get warm. Well, it's always warm in Florida, but it just looks nice. The sky is clear. Everybody's happy. School's almost out, so it's about to get real busy for me once the boys get out of school and we just are doing our summer thing.
Man, I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking you were up in Michigan for some reason.
I'm from Michigan, so
okay.
Born and raised in Michigan. I saw my brother earlier this morning, and he's wearing a hoodie for necessity, and I wear it just for show. So I'm good on that.
Yeah.
How's life in Georgia?
It's good, man. The weather's really nice right now. The trees are blooming, the grass is green, business is good. This year we've had some better months from last year across the board. So just things are looking really good right now. But you have your ups and your downs. I'm just riding that wave right now.
That's part of being in the business. For the folks that want to do it, jump on the ride. So take us back. Tell us how you got started, with doing your own thing there with Karvelas Pizza Company, because we talk to a lot of operators that are just getting going and they're doing pop-ups or they're working out at guys near the uni, but you have built something really beautiful there, 6 locations. Can you tell us how you got going with that?
Yeah, man. So I started probably like a lot of other people, just working for other people. My dad actually owned a pizza shop when I was 12, and a little hometown pizza place, pickup delivery, small place. And that's kind of where I learned that I liked it. I didn't like it back then. It was hard work for a teenager. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as I got older, I took some pride in knowing how to having a skill, and I worked for other people along the way. And so really, I mean, if I'm talking to people who are trying to get one open, there's different sides of this story to kind of help, different people. But, I feel like knowing somebody, is always a good thing that has some money that's willing to invest in you. I didn't need a lot. I borrowed $19,000 to get Karvelas Pizza Company started. There was a pizza shop in town, the one that my dad actually owned. He sold it, and the guy ran it, and he was about to go out of business. And I was like, I want to buy this thing. I bought the building, the ovens, everything in it for like 19 grand.
Wow!
But I didn't have that money. I didn't have the money. I had to go, and the thing is, that person that I knew, he knew my work ethic. He knew that I was capable of doing it. He saw the love for it. And I think that's important. So if you're out there and you're not busting your ass, you're not putting in the work, people see that, they see that. But if you are dedicated. You have the like the behind the scenes stuff going on where you're working hard. People see that stuff. They really do see it. And
Absolutely.
don't forget that your hard work, it is noticed.
It's like your
So
resume
so
before you have a resume.
yeah, it is, man. It definitely is. Look, if somebody came to me and wanted to borrow money right now, I would love to help somebody get started in this business. I'd love to, but I mean, I'm going to look at how you are and what you're doing right now. Because I can tell if you're going to make it or not. I mean, you can too. You can tell.
Yeah, you see how people work, and you see the quality of the stuff they put out, and the pride they have in what they do. I think that matters a lot too. When you believe in yourself, it makes it a whole lot easier for somebody else to believe in you, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it sounds like
So
somebody
once I got
believed in you.
somebody did, and you know what? And at one time, not many people did. We could go
Understand.
back to that another day, but I mean that was a time in my life where it was like, you know, nobody really would have put any kind of money into me. I made a lot of poor choices when I was younger. But that changed, and thank God it did. But once I got this thing going, once I borrowed the money, I bought the building, I bought the business day one, got in there, started working. The name of the company was Pizza Stop. That was the company my dad owned. And when he sold it, they kept the same name. When I bought it, I bought the name, I bought everything, but I changed the name to Karvelas Pizza Company. And I'll say that my first week, I was only open 5 days. I didn't open for lunch. I opened Tuesday through Saturday for dinner. And about a year in, I started open Saturday lunch, and, which was really slow for the first 3 years. And then it started to kind of, I was thinking every day, what am I doing here on Saturday for lunch? Ain't nobody here.
They didn't know yet.
They didn't know. But that first week of sales was a whopping $2,000, 2 grand for 5 days. But that was success to me. I'm like, I just made 2,000. I didn't make it, but I mean, I had it in my hands.
We just sold $2,000.
Yeah, it was unbelievable to me. To make $2,000 in sales, and I'll be honest, I didn't pay myself for like 3 months. I was scared to take any money. I mean, I was borrowing money from my wife's parents to pay bills and stuff, and I talked to my older brother. He's like, Joey, the business is making some money now. You should pay yourself a little paycheck. What are you doing? So my first paycheck was like $400. That's what I made a week. But man, it was fun. It was a little 900 square foot building. Over about 4 years, I guess it got popular, man. I mean, I went in there making the food that I know how to make, the stuff I love to make, and people were excited about it. I think the building though, it was a pile of crap. It was falling apart, and it
Right?
was kind of off into the country a little bit in the trailer park. So when people heard about it, they're like, "What?" And they ride by, they're thinking this place is you know popular, and then people started coming in to check it out. And before you know it, I had a parking attendant out there parking people because there wasn't much parking. It
Dang.
was crazy, dude. There was people. I had to put tables outside the building, all the way around the building. So my brother Manny he lived in Memphis, Memphis. He worked at FedEx. He was a senior manager out there, and he'd come through, periodically. And that was the first stop. We got to go by Joey's and see the restaurant. And
Yeah.
I had cold beer there, ice cold beer, crispy chicken wings, delicious pizza. He'd come by and it would be packed, and I'm like sitting there after work. We'd hang out, and I'm like, dude, you should quit FedEx. We should open up more of these. Because here's the thing: I knew how to cook. I didn't have a lot of money, but I knew how to cook. I knew how to make this really good product. I knew hospitality, but I wasn't great at like like I did everything, but I wasn't great at like hiring people and finding good people, training like leadership people. That's what he did. And I'm like, man, we need that with this business if we're gonna get bigger. He finally just said, let's just do it. I think we can do it. He believed in it. So he quit FedEx about 4 years in with the pizza place. And right then we moved. We moved the original spot to about a mile down the street to downtown, a bigger store. And overnight, man, we did that. The business tripled because we opened 7 days a week, lunch and dinner right there, and it went.
Once
You know,
once you move, you change the schedule, open up 7 days.
yes,
Was that a hard decision?
Well, it wasn't because we had brought in Manny and then his son came in. So there was a lot of payroll going out. And at that little period of time from him coming on and us open 5 days a week, there wasn't a lot of money, so he wasn't even taking a paycheck. Like it was for like 6 months, he didn't take a paycheck. But that was agreed on up front. He knew that that's what we had to do to make it work. Yeah, we had to get more money coming in to pay for everybody. And it worked. I think our first week of sales there was like 20,000. So I went from my original place was doing about 8 to 10 a week. So and then my first week was 20 to 22,000, something like that.
Doubled your sales overnight.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I want to say it was almost triple. Well, I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was close to triple the amount. You know, of course, we're doing that, making money in this store in a town over called the Grange, about 20 minutes, 15 miles away. This lady was looking to retire. She had a pizza shop for about 15 years there in LaGrange. Nice big city, about 40,000 people. You know, it was a good location right there on the main drag in downtown. And we worked a deal out with her to buy her spot. And it was an existing pizza shop. So, we pulled the trigger on it. I was scared because we're going from one to two. That was a big, big, big jump, man. That was like something that I was losing sleep over every night. And and I'll tell you, like this stuff I don't really talk about, but I mean, I share with people. I want to hear this that needs help with it. But I used to drink a lot in the beginning. I used to drink a lot of beer. It only got worse as I opened my own business and I had alcohol with me all the time. Every night, I was drinking every night. And it got to where it was like I didn't think it was a problem back then. I mean, it was normal for me. It was what everybody does, right? And I decided to stop drinking before I opened the second location up. I'm a Christian, and I believe that asking for or sacrificing some things, giving things up, God will bless you for it. And I got 5 kids and a wife, and I feel like it would be a great thing to do. Of course, I was only planning on giving it up for about 30 days. But that 30 days, I was so proud of myself. I decided, all right, I'm going to do another 30 days. And from that point forward, I feel like my success, it was big for me, like it was really big to open up that second store, no alcohol, then the third, then the fourth, and it just kept going. I'm like, man, and that was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, no alcohol. I think that's been one of the biggest. That's probably the biggest thing in my success is giving up alcohol,
I
trusting in
understand.
God, my relationship with God, and giving up alcohol it's been the key for me.
I love that. I mean, and that's something a lot of folks need to hear because there's always something that's if you're going through it, and not to make this about what your situation was, but I feel like if you're going through things or God is showing you that something's about to happen in your life, there's usually something that's standing out right in front of you that you got to make that decision, right? The fork in the road. And I love that you did that, and obviously it's worked out and it changed your life. And 30 days turned into I don't need this no more. I don't.
We meet operators, we meet business owners, and alcohol it's so. Look, I'm not saying alcohol's bad. Look, I sell it, and but it's so like normal now to drink, and you just gotta be careful with it. Advertising is big. Everywhere you go, here's a hamburger, here's a French fry, here's a buy this, buy that, and it's just it's I don't know, man. It's easy to be convinced to buy something like that, to do it,
Yeah.
and it's okay.
No, I understand. I was, when I was coming up as a GM working at the original West Shore Pizza location, there was one of the few stores that sells beer and wine. And honestly, seeing how alcohol affects the business, like it's a game changer when it comes to business because people do want it.
Yeah.
People show up for the beer, and we decided to run it as a loss leader. And we ran 99-cent drafts or 18-inch pizza in a pitcher for $10 and line out the door, 2.5, 3 hour wait times, Sales went literally from 25,000 a week to 60,000 a week within like 3 months. It was crazy, all
Holy
because of
moly!
that deal. And people thought I was crazy. Who's my mentor and the founder. Like, dude, you're just giving it away. And he said, look at the line. And I mean, people just would go crazy for it. So I understand that it is a hook for folks. You just got to be careful.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I mean,
And that came with a lot of, well, and it sounds like you sell alcohol in your shops. How do you train folks? I remember going through all of these different courses. We had to teach alcohol responsibility and make sure you couldn't sell a pitcher to a group less than three people, or all these different things. How you manage that?
we tell them to sell as much as they possibly can to everybody. Hook them up. It's vacation, baby. Take care of 'em. No, it's there's different things in different cities, different ordinances. So you gotta be careful in some cities. Some cities, you know, they don't really say things. So it's kind of part of the training when you get hired on front of house, and you got to go through a little program, and you got to get your license certified or whatever. You got to have some type of little license to sell it.
Yeah. In
They
Georgia,
have
I
a
don't
little
know.
course you got to take. They
Okay.
teach you all that stuff.
I don't know how it is in Georgia, but I know here in Florida, we had to make sure that our alcohol sales didn't surpass our food sales, or they would start to consider us a bar or a tavern, which would change like our seating and bathroom requirements and all these different things. How do they check up on you there?
But I don't. They don't really. So when you have to report your sales tax or your alcohol sales, all that
Yeah.
stuff, um, to the cities, to the counties, and they look at it, and if they see something, which we've never had that issue with, our alcohol sales are like 6-7% of sales, and then our Coke is like 3 or 4%. So roughly, it's 10 to 12% of sales beverages.
So
So
you're
they
you're
don't
well,
mess with
you're
us.
fine. Yeah, yeah. You're in a good spot there.
Yeah.
I love that. So you went from first store, first week, $2,000, being excited about what some folks would say, can't do this. This ain't enough money. You were excited about it. How did you stay motivated to the point where you became successful throughout that? You're not paying yourself. It sounds like you were trying to figure out the people situation and maybe going through some folks. How did you stay motivated throughout that period of time?
Well, there was a lot of moments to where I wasn't excited about it. I felt like, what am I doing here? Have I made a mistake? You know how we do I do myself, like I'll make a decision and think, oh my gosh, what did I do that for? You buy a new car, you buy a piece of real estate, you're thinking, what did I do this for? Same thing with the business. It wasn't making a ton of money in the beginning. I wasn't making any money. Even when it started making money, even when I was making, you know, more than I've ever made in my life the first few years, because I didn't make much before I did this. I still went home at night thinking, this is so hard, man. And like the people was the hardest part about it. The customers, complaining about the service because I couldn't keep up with the business, talking about how the store wasn't up to their standards, or the employees not coming to work, and I had to do all their work. That was just it was defeating, at the end of the day. And then I'd come home and I'd tell my wife, like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to work for somebody else. I can't handle this no more. And I did that probably once a week for the first 5 years of business. And but at the end of the night, I'd go to sleep. I'd get a good night's sleep, and I'd get up and I'd be ready to do it again. I mean, it was because I really did have a thought of playing the tape all the way through. Is the grass really greener on the other side? You're gonna go work for somebody else, and you're never gonna make. But doing this business, you're not gonna make what you really want, what you could make here if you just put the time in. And it's hard to see past where I was at, but I had other people in my life telling me, hey, things are like my brother Jimmy. I always call him. He went to college. He graduated as an accountant, and he would always say, dude, you're going to be making millions of dollars there. It's just keep doing it. I'm like, what? I made 2 grand this week. I'm going to make millions of dollars.
Yeah, man,
So,
I
and
should just
and
get
that
a
was just
job.
something that person in my life, to hear that, believe in something I couldn't, that was important to hear that. It really was important for me.
Well, it sounds like you have some good people in your corner too. So when your brother came over from FedEx and you started to take a look at onboarding processes, training, leadership and management, how did that change the business for you guys?
It just kind of evolved for us. It wasn't really like planned. It was more, we just kind of, opened up the second spot, and we kind of got in our own little, our lane. I focus on this, he would focus on this. And then when we opened the second location up, we did the same thing. And that's where we started seeing holes, where we had the people like, okay, when I got the second one, I realized that there was people running the store without me. I'm thinking, damn, this is great. I was a little nervous about it, but I was able to see things differently and start working on the things that need improvement, like training. Spending time training people, improving the front of house to go spot, improving, some of our equipment. So that's where we started building our systems at. Once we got the second one open, we didn't really have, I had recipes, and the main stuff, but as far as systems go, I mean, we're still kind of building those, but that's where we started building. We started opening the new stores where we were able to step out of the nitty gritty, the doing all the work.
Yeah. And then you see it differently, right? When other folks are doing it and you see where they struggle, you get a chance to adjust.
Tyrell, I've been doing this for 11 years now, and I still don't have all my systems in place. I know them up here. I don't have all of them in place. They're on paper, you know, and but if I were to start over right now, I would start in a really good spot, right? But that beginning, I tell people like, don't worry about getting everything figured out up front. You're just gonna figure it out along the way.
You need to.
Like what's that?
I feel like you need to figure it out along the way, or you're gonna miss some important things.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The progress is in the struggle, in my opinion. Some people would say, I guess now I take a plus location that's doing crazy numbers and a staff that's already trained and ready, but I also know that doesn't really exist.
It don't, or you're gonna pay a lot of money for it, which hey,
Yeah,
I'm
that
willing to pay
too.
that now.
I heard that. I heard that. And it sounds like you've been the brains behind the recipes and the menu. You got some pretty cool pizzas. I'm looking at like K-Bro on there. I saw the white garlic pie. You got a lot of good looking pies. How do you develop the menu and come up with some of these recipes?
Well, that all starts back when I was in school. I wasn't a great student, but I created. Dude, like I said, my dad owned a pizza shop when I was younger, and I would go to school, and I didn't do real good, but I would create a menu. Dude, I know it sounds crazy, but I had what my employees would wear. Like where they'd have khaki shorts, sneakers, a black T-shirt or a white T-shirt, whatever, a cap, a ball cap. These are the pizzas I would make. So I started doing this at a young age, and then when it finally came to doing the pizza shop, along the way, I just me and my wife, my girlfriend back at the time, when I first met her, we'd go out to eat, and I would just take notes down. I like this food. I like this. We'd look at the all the how they designed the restaurant, what we liked about it. So when I finally did it, I had a plethora of ideas that I got to, play with. And, the first year of business, I added new things, took some things off the menu. So, that first 4 years, I mean, I had stuff that I added and took off the menu. So again, like you just got to, go in and figure it out.
Like that. So it doesn't without that traditional culinary training, you were already working on recipes and in the kitchen and doing your thing. You had a mind for it.
That's right.
I heard that. And I'm thinking about now with my son because my son works a lot with me in the stores and sometimes he likes it. Well, he likes the money. He don't really like doing the work. But if he wants Robux and all these things that he wants, he's gonna have to earn it. And I'm listening to your story, and I hope that he's at least taking some mental notes and deciding what he wants to do and wants to be in life just from that, because it sounds like that exposure helped you to just kind of really start formulating these things in your mind.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't interested in it. I guess my dad kind of told me when I was around 20. 22 years old. He said, son, you need to go open up your own business. That's where you're going to have success. I got into some trouble when I was younger, and I caught some felony charges, drug charges. I like to party, I like to do those drugs. But he's like, hey, you need to go open your own business up, man. And you know how to do the pizza shop business. You can do it. So he had faith in me. But what he taught me when I was growing up was the numbers. That was something that, people people don't, maybe they take it as never opened a business. That's how you make money. If you don't know how to do that, I mean, you're going to be in trouble. So know how to charge for your food, know price elasticity, know what people are willing to pay, and test it, push it. Because if you're only charging this much and they're willing to pay this, well, that's on you, man.
Yeah,
You need
that's just missed
to do that.
opportunity. So how much of that goes into your decision when it comes time to expand? How do you decide on a location? And I'm looking, when I see the map, I can see that there's like clear expansion down the I-85 corridor. Was that intentional? And how are you able to find locations in what looks like such a linear?
Man, there ain't no rhyme or reason to why we did that. It's kind of funny because we opened them and I'm like looking at the map. I'm like, dang, they're all down 85.
All of them.
We need to put some billboards up on that interstate. We actually got one now. We find people that are in that area that can help us find some real estate. And we have people calling us now. We used to go out and look. Now we got people calling us left and right. I got this location. I got this. Come see it. There's really. I look now to see if there's a Home Depot in town. If there's a Home
Okay.
Depot, that's a good sign. You're gonna do pretty good in that area.
Home Depot ain't going nowhere, especially in Georgia. I love that.
I opened one up. It's funny. I opened one up in this Peachtree City, and if you look up the demographics there, I mean, you think it's a gold mine, which it is. It is a great spot to open a pizza shop. We did an existing pizza shop there in a little shopping center, and we paid cash for the build out, bought the equipment, everything was already there. We probably dropped about $250,000 to $300,000 on it, and which isn't bad. That's pretty inexpensive these days, especially if you're gonna build something from the ground up. And we were hoping for 40,000 a week there. Well, it ain't. It's not really hitting right now. It's crazy because you'd think you'd be hitting with that demographic. A lot of people there, a lot of money, but we might be doing 14,000 a week there. So it's just we've been open about a year, going on a year. So it's got some time to grow. We're seeing some improvement. I mean, it was a year and it dropped, so we're trying to get it start going back up. And so it's a crapshoot, man. You don't really know what's going to happen. So the ones we've had success with, though, this wasn't in downtown. It was like on this strip where there's a lot of businesses on both sides of the road, a lot of traffic. I mean,
Traffic counts, all these things. Yeah.
the ones I have really success with are the older downtown areas. I mean, the busy downtowns, those things hit for
Do they
us.
do those do better lunch business or dinner business in those downtown locations?
Both.
Really?
And that's significant. The lunch is significant for us. You could, I mean, Monday through Friday lunch at some of these like our good spots. I mean, they're doing $2,000-3,000 a day just for lunch. That's a lot of money, man.
That's great.
For us,
That's great lunch in a pizza shop,
yeah,
because a lot of pizza shops don't do lunch business unless you're selling slices. Are you selling slices? I didn't see.
yeah, yeah. I do slices just for lunch. So Monday
Okay.
through Friday, I cut them off at 4 o'clock.
All right. Like
But we do chicken. We do chicken wings and chicken bites. I sell a lot of chicken bites. Like we get this, chicken chunk. We used to get them cut up. We used to cut them up ourselves, the tenders, but now we have the manufacturer cut them for us, so it saves us a lot of time. But dude, 1,000 orders a month, maybe
chicken?
just on the chicken bite.
That's
Yeah,
a
it's a
hit.
big business, big business,
I love that. I
and
was
that's
always
what
a,
that's what they buy for lunch.
I like that. I was always afraid of downtown because I it was hard for me to see, and that's why I asked to see dinner business in downtown locations. We tried a couple and lunch was always great, and then dinner would fall off just because there weren't a lot of people living downtown. But it sounds like you figured that out and able to capture the market, the dinner business too.
Yeah, downtown, man. I mean, like some of them, I have one here where I'm at now in Hogansville. The lunch it's hit or miss. Dinner's really good. Lagrange, Noonan, all day. When you open the door, it don't stop. 7 days a week.
Nice.
So, and they're in downtowns. And then I got one in a little smaller town, West Point, which it was up here, it dropped, but now it's back up. So I've been there for about 3 years.
Okay.
It's doing really good right now. That was a little scary because that was our fourth, and we never saw the sales drop like that. Holy shit, what's going on? But but I guess that's pretty common now that we've opened up 4, 5, and 6. We see it
honeymoon
up
and
here and it hits, and it
honeymoon, then the
starts.
drop, build it back up as loyalty grows. How are you growing the loyalty and the repeat business as you continue to expand the brand? More customers, more people are finding out about you. How are you staying close to what the guest and the customer needs are?
Just being there, having somebody there that's talking to the customers when they come in the door on specific nights. Getting into the like parents that have their kids working there, getting to know them. You know, we also do like stuff for schools. Like I'll get with the athletic director and we'll help out with some of the football team, the soccer team. Feed those guys. We'll bring them to the store, feed them, and we had a school that won the state championship, and we got them in there and hooked them up.
Took care of
Those
them.
things. I mean, those are the ones that are established, the stores that are established, you don't have to really do all that stuff. But if people come ask, we don't mind helping them out. We but like the newer stores, that people don't know you, it's good to get into the school systems, do the little events they have in town just to kind of get your name out there. It's a little work, but I mean, it's, what I did in the beginning. Like I said, the first 3 stores I got, they were kind of like, man, they just, you didn't have to really do nothing. They just, hey, you know,
They were ready for it.
4, 5, and 6, they've taken some work to establish them, and get them, making more money,
Understand that. So hearing that, now it's location 6, and it doesn't sound like you're gonna stop growing. What lessons can you take into the next one to ensure that you're gonna be successful?
So that's a great question, and I've asked myself that, and I think that you really got to do your homework. I am doing my homework on the towns, uh, how many pizza shops and how much of that's in that area. Go try them out and making sure that there's not too many restaurants around there. I don't know. I mean, I really don't have an answer for that. What I'm doing right now is I got a spot in Auburn, Alabama. Right there by the university,
Mm-hmm.
and we're actually looking at building. Like I got a friend that's going to build a building for his business there, and then right there, like a mile from the campus, a really good spot, and he's going to build us a building there. I just feel like I feel like there's a lot of opportunity there in Auburn, a lot of
Yeah.
potential there. But it's a
Yeah.
brand new building. It's going to be, set up like these. Okay, the stores that are second gen, you got to be careful with them because for me,
They fail for a reason. They fail for a reason. That's what I say.
well, I mean, they're set up the way that the previous guy built it out, right? And
Right.
you have to go in and work around their design. It's like I've got a winning design. I believe in my design, in my kitchen flow, and how everything works. And for the past 2 restaurants that I've opened, I went in and I'm working with what they had, and it's difficult when it gets very difficult when it gets busy. So I've had to retrain how we do business there. It's just too much work. So I want to. I mean, honestly, if that's kind of what I'm learning about my business. So this new one in Auburn, it would be from the ground up build. It would be my design, and I
Exactly.
feel like it would flow like you know money. It would flow really good.
You feel like that's something that folks miss, and I know second gen has its benefits, right? Because you get to save a
Sure.
ton of money on equipment and build out, and you don't got to get a hood or a grease trap or plumbing and all that stuff that just costs a ton of money. However, it does, I mean, it comes with sacrifices when it comes to flow and storage and all these different things that it sounds, people tend to miss when it comes to planning. How do, how do you make sure that that's part of your process?
Well, I mean, look, I had a second gym. My second store was a second gym, but it was a pizza shop, and it was set up almost identical to how we. All we had to do was add a piece to the line, a fry side, and it, dude, it works. It's almost like the exact same we already use. So that was great. And it worked, and it does a lot of money now. It's a very very profitable store, very busy store. But these other two, like one of them, both of them are the kitchens are not open. They're in the back. You can't see them. And I have an open kitchen concept, and so it just it's difficult, man. I mean, I look at it like an L. Like a you got this line, you got this line. That the most recent restaurant opened up. You got the pizza side over on this side, the fry side over here, and so for lunch, it just so much moving, so much. Like my normal pizza shop is just one line, and you got the pizza and wings here, and you can just kind of go back and forth. It's like really easy.
Yeah.
So that's been really difficult on Friday. You have more. You got to have more people there to run
More
it.
labor to run it. Yeah.
So it's just trial and error, man. And I feel like okay, I saved a lot of money to get this thing open, and it makes money. It does, but it's been a headache, and I feel like I'm looking for stores that I can open, maybe spend 3 or 4 times the money, but I would like to bring in 3 or 4 times the sales. So, and that's I've graduated. Well, I say I want to graduate to a bigger, a bigger store. So maybe Auburn's going to give me that. We'll see.
Which one is the biggest now from seating capacity standpoint?
I'd say our latest one, Sonoy, it has about 110 chairs, 120 chairs,
Patio?
patio. Yep. Oh, yeah, patio. So it's got probably another 30 out there.
140, 150 seats out there.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big one, and you want to continue to even expand on that.
No, I want to. Okay, so I just want to get more sales.
More
You know,
sales. Okay.
I want to grow my to go. I want to grow the takeout side of it. I want to. I think 120 chairs. You could, from what I see, I mean, you could easily do $4 million out of it. Like it's you don't have to have a bigger dining room. I don't think to push out that much. You just got to have a really powerful kitchen that can pump it out.
Fa-
A good flow.
yeah, got to have a fast kitchen, get people turned over quick. The what was I going to ask you? So, in working on doing the next door at Auburn, are you going to? Oh no, that's not where I was going to go. I was going to go with delivery. So you're doing big business. Are you doing delivery out of any of your stores or all of your stores?
Not right now. I originally did for the first year and a half, but I cut it off. We do third party delivery. We do DoorDash at all the
Uh,
stores.
Everybody has DoorDash. Are you doing, or is it just like straight from the DoorDash platform, or are you using like the deliveries of service from DoorDash to DoorDash Drive?
Yeah, just straight from DoorDash.
Okay.
I guess I'm not familiar with what you just said.
So with DoorDash Drive, it's another product from them. They will deliver your first party orders for you for a fee. I pay $7. DoorDash driver picks up the order, takes it to the customer. We charge the customer five, so it costs me net $2 per delivery to use the DoorDash network to deliver orders that come in either through the phone or online for me.
Interesting.
Dude, check them out. It's Uber does it too through their service called Uber Direct, but it's deliveries of services allowed us to stay, to continue to accept delivery orders even through tough staffing. I mean, and I still employ drivers. I got a couple drivers, but we don't have to turn anything away.
Yeah.
How's your catering business?
I don't do it right now, but I mean, that was something I've been talking about for the past few months to try to build something online because we get a lot of emails. I shouldn't say a lot. We get some, probably once a month, twice a month of some type of event, and we just we don't really have a system for it. But I was talking to the guys like we need to build something where we can Because I mean, that's we got enough people to do it. So I'm going to work on building something for that.
You know what I like about catering is it gives you the chance to literally make your day before you even open. When you get some of these big ones in their $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 order, you can make your payroll before you ever open the doors. And most times they want those orders at lunch or just before lunch. I think it's catering is kind of a game changer and a labor saver for you. If you ever think about it, I would definitely consider it. But listening to you and hearing your story, you're probably gonna want to change how you design your kitchen too, because you're gonna want to do it a little different.
So have you heard of Loman AI?
I haven't.
It's a phone answering company. So
They
it's like
they take orders or they kind of direct traffic.
they take orders. Yeah, I mean it's well, I'm about to sign one of the stores up to see how it works. But yeah, I mean, you call it and it tells you that, it's like a real person, and it'll take the order. They don't take payment yet, but they're working on that. But you'll pick it up, but you can also do delivery through it.
I like that. Look, AI is the future. Oh, it ain't even the future. It's now. I think if we're missing an opportunity if we don't try to work it in somehow. I talked to one of these AI phone answering services, but they didn't take orders. It was more of like a phone attendant. It would, find out what you needed. It would text you a code to order online or a link to order online, or it could answer questions like hours of ops or directions, things like that. But it wasn't at that point able to take orders. So we didn't go with it. I want to,
Look up. I'll send you a link or whatever. Loman LOM. I think LOMAN maybe Loman.ai.
okay.
They're pretty new. I don't know exactly what it would cost, but they do it per call. Like they charge per call.
Yeah.
You have to negotiate a price with them, but that's where I'm at right now, trying to
Yeah.
get
I
a good
talked to,
price.
I talked to the folks at Slice about their phone. They kind of do like more of a call center. So they have AI solutions, but they also have humans that can take orders, through their call center for you. But it was required a change in POS, so we just decided it wasn't going to work for us right now. I'm not really trying to change POS. We're 19 stores, and that's heavy lifting.
How many stores?
19, not all
Good
not all
Lord.
mine. 19 in the franchise group. So I own one, but I support the other 18 stores as a training and operations director.
Wow.
But
That's a lot though, man. 19 locations.
it's like turning a cruise ship every time you want to do anything now.
Is it?
My goodness. And it comes and look, I get it. Everyone's, they work really hard to build up these franchises and, get into that position. So when you say, hey, look, we're gonna change this price, or we're gonna change a menu item, or we're looking at a new POS, it's like you're asking them to give up a right arm. So nobody wants to do that. Are you thinking about franchising?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it. I went to an attorney and talked to him about it. And, um, it's he almost talked me out of it. He said, "This is my job, is to talk you out of this."
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you did a good job of it. Like he's basically saying that if you do this, it's the hardest part is selling the franchise to people. And honestly, I feel like I'd love to do it, but I feel like it's I want to have it more. I guess I want to have my systems. Sorry, I want to have my systems down a lot better before I do it. Because I want to hand you the keys to a Ferrari. I want to hand you something that you can, and I want to give you I want to be like your consultant, and I want to, for Karvelas Pizza, I want to teach you how to make a lot of money. And I don't feel like I have that down 100% yet, but I'm getting there.
Nice. I think I mean, when you talk about supercharging a brand, that's going to be, that's a great way to go. But franchise sales is, that becomes the game. Franchise sales and lease negotiation in real estate is what you become at that point.
I'd love to do it. I think it would be so much fun one day. I'm 43 right now. When I hit 55 or something, maybe 50 or whatever, or earlier. I don't care. I'm just kind of giving a number, but I'd love to be able to spend some time in my life and teach people how to do what I do and give back, but also get paid for it, right?
Yes. I'll take a couple dollars when they're
Right.
available, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think you should think about it because you built a really a really strong brand, and I love that it's bold, it's edgy, it's I can tell that it's of what you guys are as a family. And was that intentional also from the beginning, like to build a family brand that was about you? Because it's
It
easy to
was.
take what the other guys are doing and copy that, but there's no soul in the big brands. What you got feels like it's all right. This is our pizza shop.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And and it was absolutely the vision in the beginning. I stood over my dad's grave as we laid him to rest, and it was emotional for me. Before I opened up the pizza place, before I ever bought the pizza place, and I spoke it into existence. I said, I'm going to buy back my father's pizza shop. Everybody was standing there listening to this, and I'm gonna get everybody in my family to come do it with me. And so far we've done it. I actually wrote down on paper, um, before I ever opened the pizza shop, before I ever bought it, I wrote down exactly what I wanted the next 10 years. And I can't remember who told me to do it, but I did it. I prayed over it. And when we moved into this house here, we just built this house a few years ago. My wife found it in a file and she said, "Look what I found." And we read it. And man, it was brought tears to both of our eyes because everything that I had prayed for and put on that paper was either came true or was about to happen. My gosh. About the business, about our family, about people,
Yeah,
my brothers coming on board with me. It was incredible. So
that's
that's a
that's
power in that stuff.
hey, faith is a real thing. Faith is a real
Absolutely.
thing. So that's a great story, and I'm looking forward to see what continues to happen and come out of Carvelas. You've given us a lot of good advice, and I wrote down a question to just to ask you what advice you would give someone who's trying to do this, even though you've given us a lot of gems. But is there one thing that sticks out as you think about your life and your journey that would help the next guy, decide they want to become the next Joey Karvelas?
Well, I would say that your dreams, your planning, your dreams planning is not a good place to be. It's where things start to fall apart. You just got to take some action, and don't worry about the perfect time. There is no perfect time, man. If you have the opportunity, go take it. Don't be scared of something not working. It's probably the best thing in your life is for you to go through something that don't work. Because when you struggle like that, it makes you want to, it forces you to make a better decision. And you never know what fire that's going to light. So go do, man. Stop talking, go do.
Go do. I like that. All right,
Go do it.
last question before we go. If there was a theme song for Carvelas Pizza Company, what would that song be?
Good one. Let's see. Lil John.
Which one?
You know, the only one. Lil John, he's from my neck of the woods. What was it called? Turned down for what?
Turn down for what? I love that. Joey, you a lot of fun, bro. I can't wait to spend some time. So my pops lives up in Marietta, so next time I get up that way, I'm gonna make sure to
Dude,
pop into one of the shops. Where do you spend the
holler at
most
me.
time?
Holler at me.
I definitely will. You spend the most time at Hogansville, or you kind of get all over?
Right now. I'm spending a lot of time in Hogansville. I'm working with the team there, building up a really good team. So the next one, I don't know yet, but I've got all my time into this one right now. But I go to all of them. Like Noonan would be closest to uh, uh, Noonan would be closest to Marietta.
Okay. Yeah, when I make it up that way, I'll definitely make sure to holler at you because I want to come by. I told my son we're on this mission to start visiting more shops. I love doing this podcast, but I hate doing it from the house here in my office. I don't even have a door, so the dog keeps running in and out. I want to get out and meet more owners, see more shops, and just get more into the community because the pizza community is so dope and everybody supports each other. And I'm just a fan of all of the work that all of y'all do, and I want to get out and show some more love.
But Terrell, I wanted to learn more about you, man. I really am fascinated with what you've done, and I'd love to hear your story. I know we got to get off this thing, but I'd love to maybe hook up with you and just hear your story, man.
Definitely, man. We could talk anytime, but I'll give you the 30-second version. I had no idea what I was doing with my life. I moved to Florida with a family. I had $0, zero plan, and there was a little shop across the street from our neighborhood with a pizza box in the window. It said now hiring. And I walked over there, asked for an application, and the owner called me back later. He said, "You got any experience?" I said, "I used to be an assistant manager at Little Caesars back in Michigan." And what he didn't know was everybody's an assistant manager at Little Caesars. All I was really doing was washing pans and making dough, but I loved
Yeah,
it. I love being in the shop, being around the team. So he hired me as a little West Shore Pizza franchise over in Riverview. Worked there for about 7, 8 months before that guy sold it back to corporate. And one day I was opening up the shop, and Bob Asatoro, who's the founder of West Shore Pizza, walked in the door and said, "Who are you? I just bought this place." And I told him I'm Tyrell, and we got to know each other. And he asked me what my plans were, and I told him, "Look, man, I like what I'm doing here, and I think I can run this company one day." And he said, "If you stick with me, then I'll make sure that you can do that, and we'll make it happen." But he also told me, he said, "Look, I know you're not going to do anything stupid like smoke weed in the kitchen." And look, I'm me, but if you can imagine, my face turned red, red as red could be, because, and I go, "Oh damn, you heard about that?" A few months before that, me and some buddies, dumb, dumb, smoking weed in the kitchen, store still open, and the owner, Mike Anderson, walked in on us, and he was pissed, and he couldn't believe it, and he left, and he came back, he's all angry. He goes, "If y'all wasn't my best guys, I'd fire you right now, but I can't clean this kitchen up." So I had to learn that lesson. That was so dumb. He's like, "If I was a sheriff, y'all be in jail right now." So Bob told me, he goes, "I know you're not going to do anything stupid like smoke weed in the kitchen." I'm like, "Damn, you heard about it?" He goes, "Yeah, I heard about it, but the fact that you're still here means that there must have been something good about you." And from that day forward, he poured into me, and he invested in me, and he gave me opportunity after opportunity. I wrote the operations manual. We opened up all of the new franchises. I stuck with Bob for the next 14 years before, just getting out on my own, and opening up some stores. So I've owned 7 stores. Got one now we've had for the last 13 years. Very successful. Very, very grateful, and just appreciative for that business. But all of the lessons that Bob taught me, I still talk to him almost every day. I spent a lot of time on the corporate side. I've worked with some other brands. I went to travel. I did Fuzzy's Taco Shops for about 5 years. Worked with Checkers and Rallies and Mo Southwest Grill on the corporate side as a support consultant. So just went out to get experience, and it was all about just learning the game. Learning some different brands. I found out real quick that I know what I do very well. I didn't know. I thought I knew business, but I didn't know business. I knew West Shore Pizza. So I had to go out and learn and spend some time just getting to know some other brands and some other systems. But I'm a people guy. Bob he always told us, "Look, this business is not about." He goes, he tells us all the time, like, "What do we do to? What do we sell?" I'm like, "We sell pizza." He goes, "No, that's not the business we're in. We're in the people business." So when it's all about relationships. When you take care of people, they'll take care of you. And he took care of me, and he always gave me the keys to say, "Look, go make sure that our relationships are good. Don't ever worry about being the bad guy. I'll be the bad guy. You make sure everybody loves us and loves what we do, and you make sure our team is straight, and you'll be successful." And he held true to his word. He took care of me. Even when I tried to quit, he didn't let me. And I really appreciate him for that, because he taught me how to take care of me. He taught me how to take care of a family. And now I can bashfully say that I'm successful because of that. And I just appreciate him, and the fact that he believed in me and gave me an opportunity. It's a long story, but it's a short story. Somebody believed in me, and I just kept working, and I kept saying yes to opportunity.
we're very similar people.
And I can feel that we got this kindred thing going. So I appreciate you. I love hearing about your faith. That's not something that we talk about a lot, especially on the show, and it's in business in general. But it has made a difference, because I know even when I'm not, there's people behind the scenes that are keeping me in their prayers, and they're making sure that I'm taken care of. I grew up in the church, so I believe in that.
That's good, man. That's good to
So
hear. I think a lot of us are. They don't talk about it, but yeah, I mean, it's an important part of business, man. I feel like like you ain't got the boss to work to. When you own a business, you don't have. You depend on God,
yeah,
or yourself.
absolutely. And that faith comes from somewhere. And I didn't sit up with all these nights and create things and create systems and spreadsheets. I'm like the laptop guy around West Shore. Everybody knows I got my laptop in my bag, and I can, bust out a spreadsheet for you real quick or do something like that. So like all that comes from just, something in me that said, "Look, you can do this, and you can learn it." I almost copied our first operations manual. I pretty much copied word for word from a Subway manual that I got my hands on, and just changed sandwich to pizza. So
Yeah. Well, that's
but it
smart.
it's worked out, and we created some other things, created some systems, and I'm like, I'm at this point now where I'm enjoying the teaching and the learning part of it. So being able to help new owners and new operators, even managers, figure this thing out and try to beat those numbers, because most of us fail when they get into this. And even I failed. I've opened locations, I've closed locations. I bought the store that I started working in originally, lasted for a couple of years before I ran out of money because I was dumb and I took cash advances and loans that were predatory. And those are the things that I'd like to share and be open about so that folks don't make those same mistakes. It's a fun business and it's easy, but there's also a lot of snakes and a lot of predators out there that take advantage of folks. And I
Absolutely.
want to be honest and open about it so that somebody else can, the next guy can be successful. I want to see us all win. There's enough for everybody.
It is. Absolutely.
But that's my story, bro. I'm pretty chill, pretty regular family guy. I love having my wife and my kids. We just have fun. We eat
Yeah,
pizza. We eat pizza still 3-4 times a week.
we do too. I got
Barely.
5 kids, and they all love going to the pizza place every Friday night. We don't go there because it's too hard, but yeah, we eat pizza every Friday night.
Yeah. Now my son, he knows how to walk in and put an order in. So I'm like, I gotta get these dudes under control.
Yeah.
I gotta in my
How
freezer.
old are your boys?
Oldest is 12. He'll be 13 in 2 weeks. He's the oldest, and then I got twins that are 10. They'll be 11 this summer.
Nice. So
So
you got
all
3 boys?
three boys, all boys, and um, all I can tell you is that they tear everything up. Nothing lasts around here. But you grew up with boys too, so you know.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a bunch of boys in my family. I got my oldest daughter's 12, and then I got my second daughter's 10. So real similar ages. And then I got a son that's 7, a daughter that's 5, and another son that's 3.
You just didn't stop.
Yeah, we finally did, but yeah, we probably look, it's been awesome though. It's been awesome. It's fun to go on trips. It's hard, but I'm looking forward to when we can. It's tough to go out and eat with them. That's the hardest part. Getting them all in the car, going out and eat. I'm looking forward to them being able to go enjoy some good meals.
I don't
In the
understand it because
restaurant.
I look at other folks, other families, and I'm like, those kids are sitting there and they ain't talking, they're just eating, and they're all respectful, and my kids are crazy. But we're just fun. I love who they are. They're all different, but it took us. I used to tell folks all the time, we're not restaurant ready. We
Yeah.
can't do it. We don't have it. We get takeout. They're getting better
What
though.
part of Florida y'all from, or
We
where y'all
live
live?
we're just right outside of Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah, little east of
I had to make
Tampa.
my way down there, man.
Man, please do come on by, man. Take you around, show you the shops, and some of the places we like to visit and do. And we got Busch Gardens here. If you ever bring the family, it's a nice trip for the family.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
All doors open, brother. You always welcome here.
Sweet. Good to
So,
hear.
but again, I won't keep you. Thank you for your time, and wishing y'all much success over there. And if there's ever anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate to hit me up.
Hey, thanks for inviting me, man, to do this with you. It's great to hear about you and learn more about you. And if there's anything I can do for you guys, let me know.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.